Welcome to Alea Creative. This is April, and I'm so excited you are here today with me. We are going to be covering my mini composition notebook. This is the one that I just finished, giving you a quick flip through. These are so fun to do, so inexpensive, and a great way to finish a journal because they are very small. So I have my mini composition notebook. I have pre-prepped this by gluing two pages together throughout, or about halfway throughout, and I'll kind of glue the rest as I go. And my other supplies that I have here are some stickers I'd like to use, some little sequins, this cute little flower, my trusty glue stick, scissors, and of course my paper plate by Amy Tangerine. But you can use any type of scrapbook paper or paper that you've created, magazine cutouts, really anything. But I do really enjoying this because I love the colors, and I think it is such a neat little book that makes it very easy to select something to start creating. So now that I have found a page that I feel like works, I'm laying some of the stickers over. I just wanted to kind of see how they would work, and that's a great tip if you're using stickers with a clear back. You can kind of get an idea. And I'm just ripping some paper out. You could also cut it, but I find it's pretty easy just to tear it. And what I'm going to do next is the simplest and easiest way. I have recovered so many notebooks, and this is what works for me. There's lots of other ways to do it. You can be very precise, you can cut and measure, but I am just actually going to lay it down. I'm going to line up the straight parts to the line to the spine in the bottom, and then what I'll do is actually let it overhang, and then I'm going to go in just a minute with my glue stick. I find glue stick is the easiest way to work. And now I'm just flipping through to see what I might want to use for the back page. And oh goodness, some of these are so pretty. It's so hard to decide. But the easy way to glue this on for me is just to glue the paper on, press it down, and then cut around the edges. And I'm going to show you that here in just a few moments. I found these hearts in the orange and red and blue, and I thought this would be a nice accent, so I'm just tearing these out gently. I like to tear mine purposely crooked because I really like the kind of torn edge look. So here we're going in to get ready to do our gluing, and don't worry, really the only thing you want to do is try to line up the spine to the binding there. Anything else can overhang and you'll be able to trim it. I am playing around a little bit just to see if I want to add these on, and I'm definitely overthinking this. I think that if it was something where I wasn't doing for a video, I think I probably wouldn't have taken quite so long. So I'm going to lay the book out flat, and I'm just going to go right up to the edge of the black there and all the way around. Give it a good coat of glue. Use whatever glue stick you like. I love Avery, but they're hard to find in my area, so I use the Walmart Pen and Gear, and they work great for me. So I'm just pressing it on and lining it up here. The glue, you usually have a little wiggle room depending on what type of glue to kind of realign or readjust. And if it's something where that's really tricky, you can use some of the repositionable glue sticks. But I go through so much glue that this is what works for me. So now I'm just taking my scissors. I do find a smaller pair of scissors works best for this, but use what you have. And I'm just cutting around the edges. So the first times that you're doing this, if you cut it crooked, it's okay. If you end up cutting off part of the book cover or getting the corners crooked, that's okay too. I have certainly done that. Now we're going to set aside the cutoff page so that we can reuse that if we decide to. And I'm going back. I really want to use this piece on this cover. But something about it is just not quite working out for me in the way that I thought it would. So we're going to go in, I'm going to give it another rip to see if we can get it down to a size that's going to work well. And I'm thinking, you know, it might look good along the side. Now, if I was going to glue it here, what I would do is glue it on, leaving a little overhanging the edge, and then go in and trim it out with the scissors. You can also kind of bend the ends of the paper, you know, to kind of make it a little bit easier to tell where you are going to cut. But I absolutely love working with these little mini journals. They're such a fun way. Now here is, I'm going to tell you right now, this is where I almost made a huge mistake, which I do catch later in time, thank goodness, although it would have been fixable. This is my July. This is my July journal. So I wanted to pick out these stickers because these are a little bit weird, and in the respect that they're all different colors. So I wanted to make sure that all of the letters were going to be in a color that would work. For instance, if there was a yellow, it wouldn't show up very well on there without me placing something under it. So I am arranging them down on the bottom just in a clear, you know, area of that clear strip, and spelling out the word that I want to use. So it could be your month name, it could be your name, it could be, you know, whatever you are putting on, and this would just make it easy to get the stickers on. Then I could see, you know, is everything going to show up? Is it going to visually look like it would? And also, are the letters on here? Because as you can see, I have used a few of these letters. And if you've ever worked with letter stickers, you know it can be super frustrating to start spelling something out and then discover that, hey, you don't actually have another duplicate letter of what you need. So that's the purpose for this. It took way too long. It would have been so much faster just to pick these off and stick them straight on. But I'm so glad I did not do this in this case, because I painstakingly go in and pull out all of these letters to spell out June. Oh my goodness, June. Yes, I spell out June, and I do not even realize it at this point that I am supposed to be doing July. And so I have it out, I've cut it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be perfect on there. I love that we've got, you know, the blue in there and kind of the lighter and the darker pinks. That's going to be wonderful, playing around with the positioning on it. Still not realizing that I'm not even spelling out the right thing. Now, I really wanted to use these little stickers. They're little embellishments, but they just, the colors with the boldness of this, they weren't working in the way that I originally thought that they would. And sometimes when I pull out my supplies in advance, I may not end up using them, and that's okay. It's great to pull out supplies and kind of have a starting point that can help you avoid like that overwhelm with what you're going to do, but it's also completely okay to totally pivot and not use those, which is what we end up doing here. So since those didn't work, I decided to pull out my PET stickers. These are my favorite PET stickers. I love these so much. I got these from the little craft place. I will link them in the description box. They are a fun little craft store, and they I wish I could remember the artist's name that does these stickers, but they're adorable. They're little office supplies and cats, but they all have little funny faces and movements, and they're so creative, and I use them to recover the last month's journal, the real June journal that you see there in the corner. And so I was like, I wasn't gonna do that on this one because I've already done it, but I ended up doing it anyway. So I went in with the purple little journal sticker there right in the center, and with the composition notebooks, you can really do something very freeform, or anything that you're recovering, where you just do a bunch of stickers on the cover, kind of like the June that I did before. But I did want something a little different. I do try to push my creativity on these smaller journals, which I find is easy since you can use, you know, smaller stickers, whereas on my large ones, I will tend to use the larger stickers. So I really wanted to fit, this says journaling, and I'm so sorry about that glare, but it says journaling, and it's spelled out in office supplies. So, but it wouldn't quite lay without the J being on the spine, which was just driving me insane. I wanted it to be straight like this, but I had to fight against that and go at an angle, which that is my biggest tip for you. If you are the type of person who wants things to be straight and neat, but you absolutely don't have the ability due to the space or your own self to get things straight, you can get comfortable with purposely doing things at angles and purposely doing them crooked, because then it's okay if it's not straight. And that's one of the things that's really helped me in my journey, is letting go of that perfectionism. And with these type, I think that having a little bit of angle, that little messy look, it adds a lot of character to it. So here is where I come to the realization that I have messed up. And yeah, so I am going to go ahead and start sticking this on. Now, should I have checked to make sure that I had the correct letters? Oh wait, no, here, I guess I haven't figured it out. Oh, here we go. Oh, I am. Nope, there's where it is. I'm like, no, that's wrong. That's how long it took me to realize, guys. I'm actually glad that I did. A lot of times I will end up misspelling things or making little silly mistakes, and I don't even notice it because I get so in the flow of things, and I think it's actually kind of fun to look back at those. So this ended up with everything being in the pink instead of having that pop of blue like I kind of wanted. Or actually, it ends up with the green instead of the pop of blue that I wanted. So that did change kind of the look of it, but it's okay. There she is. She's so cute. Now, for the rest of it, I could have left it simple and blank like this, but if you know anything about me, you know that if there is any bit of blank space, I would love to fill it up. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm definitely a maximalist when it comes to filling up your page. Don't like white space. Which is why in a lot of these notebooks you'll notice that I pre-prep them with paper or glue, not glue. I pre-prep them with like paper or paint, to get rid of the white space. Now, see this cute little guy? He is a little crayon, and I picked him because he's green, so he kind of ties in. I'm kind of trying to balance out some of the colors as well as the space, and I'm just rolling this up and looking to see if there's anything else that might fit or go well with this. Because again, I've got some blank space there and I need to fill it up. I just need to. I think that's why I love junk journaling so much, is that you really can just fill up that page and not have to have the white space. And composition wise, it's wonderful to have some blank space or some white space because it can really make your designs stand out. But this is not fine art. This is a tiny little creative junk journal, and we can stick as much stuff as we want or as little stuff as we want on that cover. And so I'm going through some other stickers that I just had handy to see if anything is going to fit or work with this. And I do always have a pile of stickers handy. These are some cute little pipsticks, and then I also have these hearts that are on here, but they're like little plastic hearts, and so they add a lot of texture, and I thought about doing this on the cover, but I did find these adorable little clouds, which I thought did actually add some white contrast to this page. And then of course, since we've got color, let's add a rainbow, because you really can't go wrong adding rainbows. Not like butterflies that can mess up things and should be used to mess up things, but yeah, rainbows. And the butterfly thing, that is just, if you watch some of my videos, I'll probably bore you with the story a million times, but my mom and I would always try to do things, and whenever we would try to do butterflies, like anything drawing butterflies, they would just turn out like awful and it would just be a disaster. So after a while, we just started joking whenever a page or art wasn't going well. We'd be like, well, it's going bad. We might as well put a butterfly on it. So that's why I say that. And I'll probably say it a million times, repeating. So here we have the back. Now you could totally leave the back of this blank, but I really do like to finish it off. So this, I didn't have another piece of that same yellow page from Paper Play. Well, actually, I could have used it, but I wanted to save that for something else. So what I did is grab some origami paper. I love using origami paper because it is very thin. You can get some really crazy patterns, or you can get some muted patterns like this one here. I think it's just like it has feathers on it, and I'm doing the same thing I did before, pressing it on. You can tell I don't even give this like a lot of time to glue. I pretty much press it down and start cutting right away. Now sometimes if you get a little forceful with your cutting, or if you haven't glued it, you may find that some of it pops off, but that's okay. What you do is once you get it cut, you just grab your glue stick, you peel up the part that's coming off, and you plop some more glue on. I decided not to decorate the back of this. Thank you so much for watching. Go create something and have a great day. Bye.